So I'm going to post this as a response to your video, Adam, about Gaia and Ken Wilber and the evolution of consciousness and integral theory, practice, philosophy. Because I think the video monologues like this have a role to play. Because it seems as though the real struggle, at least as I have been conceiving of it or trying to conceive of it, which is why it's a struggle, the struggle is to find a more harmonious or perhaps integral relationship between the personal and the transpersonal, without reducing the transpersonal to the merely impersonal. Let's flesh that out a little bit. So what I really like about YouTube is that it gives ideas personality. It shows the thinkers in their flesh and blood embodiment, rather than merely being words on a page that aren't brought to life in the moment and uttered authentically. And I think that's why there's so much anxiety when we do these sorts of private productions, because it calls us to authenticity. Because we're talking, I'm talking to you, Adam, right now, but I'm also talking to everyone in general. Whoever wants to watch, and whoever wants to respond can do so, or comment can do so. So, really, I don't know who I'm talking to. I know partially. I'm talking to you, Adam. I know I'm also partially talking to anyone who wants to listen. But that doesn't seem to be the full extent of who I'm talking to. There also seems to be this other, this transcendental other that I'm talking to. And it's almost like this is a confessional. Except that I'm not talking to a priest. I get to talk to God. YouTube is almost seems to be public prayer. And others on YouTube, other reflective people on YouTube have said the same. Professor Anton comes to mind, and this idea that YouTube is prayer. I think what it does is YouTube gives us an opportunity to share ideas with each other that are bigger than ourselves. It opens up a realm where we can talk about, there's the potential, I guess, for this to take a narcissistic turn where we only talk about ourselves. And a lot of people vlog or post videos of themselves on the internet for that reason, as sort of a diary, and just giving the narrative to their own lives. And there's a place for that, because it's an exercise in self-consciousness, right? But there's also the potential on YouTube to really enact a participatory democracy. This gives people a voice, and a voice in a way that they're not afraid to be honest, even though there is anxiety associated with doing this. I think the anxiety is from the fact that this is being recorded and can be watched in the future by anyone, anywhere. So it's an anxiety over time, knowing that we can be held accountable for what we say in such videos. And so our own personal consciousness evolves in communion with others as we engage in these sorts of discussions. And see, that's just it. What are we talking about? Adam, you were talking about the evolution of consciousness, as the universe coming to an awareness of itself. or the earth coming to consciousness of itself in the human. And I think for the human to accomplish this, and it's an achievement, and it's the achievement is precariously teetering on catastrophe. It may not happen because it's not just that we want some abstract knowledge of the fact that we live in this evolving universe. We also want to love that universe, and really a true knowledge is also a relationship. It's a love for the object which we try to know, such that it's no longer an object. Right? It becomes a subject we are in relationship with. So not only are we the universe coming to knowledge of itself, the universe coming to conscience of itself, to care for itself. The earth cares about its own existence, at least through the human beings which are able to express that calling. And I'm not exactly sure how to articulate it, but it seems as though a medium such as YouTube provides the stage upon which we can begin to perform a new planetary mythology, because it's inclusive. It's radically inclusive. So much so that there's the danger for trolling and for sabotage, and you're just exposed, right? But we've got to trust ourselves, and we've got to start communicating openly, because look, the government's already buying all of our phone records from the supposedly private telecommunications companies. So, we may as well just start breaking down this boundary between the private and the public, which, there are many fronts where that will play itself out. The body, the environment, our relationship to ecosystems, to the food that we eat. I have to buy food with money, which there's such a disconnect there. Such a disconnect between the food, the substance which nourishes my very being, well, my physical being at least. There's a disconnect between that and my being, my spiritual being, because of money. And perhaps that's a topic we could discuss on YouTube in the public sphere. This issue of money and why that produces so much anxiety. But oh wow, 8 minutes. I guess I'll leave it at that. But hey, Adam, we should keep the ball rolling on this whole public confessional YouTube thing, and exchange an ongoing series of confessions that perhaps will allow us to enter into some sort of a dialectic, and we can evolve. So it seems to be the thing that we're striving for, a mutation. So let's push the envelope.